Hi, Alicia.
Hello, hello. It's been a while. Good to see you.
It's been a minute. Yes, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Oh. Yes, sorry.
Okay. I'll call this meeting, the special Board of Education meeting and open session workshop to order. I'm going to motion to move our last item to our first item this evening. So a motion to move 4.1 to the beginning of our agenda.
So moved.
Second, Chairperson.
Nama, your advisory vote.
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. All right. Dr. Carolyn Stanford Taylor, we'd love to hear from you.
She there?
Just getting in. Recording.
Okay, I don't think she heard you.
Carolyn, yes, okay. Just want you to know they moved you up first.
Right, great. Thank you so much. Good to see everyone tonight. It is my privilege to introduce you to two dynamic individuals who will help us with our strategic recalibration. Gail Anderson, and both of these ladies I've worked with in the past. Gail Anderson is the consultant with GPA Educational Consulting. That is her firm, and she has served in a number of leadership positions, worked at Department of Public Instruction. She is currently the executive director of Wisconsin Council of Administrators of Special Services. She has many licenses. She has been director of instruction, director of special education and special services, district administrator, principal, school psychologist. So she's kind of done it all. But overall, she has been involved in implementation science, which I think is something that we're all very interested in. Dr. Alicia Moutry, I have enjoyed working with her on numerous occasions, and we're so thrilled that she agreed to come and work with us as well. She is the president of 4AM Consulting. She has been a transformational facilitator for many years and is working with us on the Urban Leadership Institute. She has worked in WCER, Wisconsin Educational Center for Educational Research, as well as been the executive director of MTech, which is Milwaukee Teacher Education Center. She too has a huge background in doing this work. The third person that will be working with us is Dr. McKinney DeRoyster. And she's not here tonight, but they will be working in collaboration. So we have a dynamic trio. And I will turn the floor over to them.
Thanks so much. I just have to clarify real quick, Carolyn, I never was a district administrator. Having served as a school board president helped me recognize what that job requires. And so that is a responsibility I have not yet undertaken.
Thank you for the clarification.
I do appreciate the board taking some time tonight. Cindy, I know that you've been doing some work thinking about timeline for the strategic plan and the recalibration. As Dr. Moutry and I understand it, our role is really to support the work of the district and to support thinking about and the work of hearing from the community, reviewing the work that's already underway that aligns with strategic priorities, recognizing where there are strengths that can be capitalized on and where there are opportunities to do some retooling. And so our role is really as facilitators and coaches of the work. we are excited to meet with Dr. Bikini DeRoyston on Wednesday to get a better sense from her about where she really sees her strengths and her talents, making this process even stronger. We know you have a great team. We know that you are doing good things for students, and we know that there are places that you are not quite where you want to be. And so our approach is to really be your partners in the work, to help you identify the right next steps that get you where you want to be with all of your students, explicitly and specifically looking at your Black students and your students of color and your students with disabilities.
Yeah, and thank you so much for that, Dr. Anderson. Ms. Green is the one who's going to be facilitating as our new person, not new person, but in her new role as supervising the curriculum department and the new associate superintendent. So if you want to just go over that timeline really quickly with the board, and then that will really conclude this part of the board. To make sure that our board members have an opportunity to meet Dr. Mutri and also yourself, Ms. Anderson, okay? So,
Did Dr. Mutri have an opportunity to say hello to the group?
oh, yes, please.
I was going to ask if that could be take place. Thank you so much. Excited to be here today. I've been, again, in education 31 years, believe it or not. And I am at the pleasure in my career now that I'm able to support work and the work that I really want to do. I get a chance to do that. So I've had some opportunities to work with Madison, a very small amount working with Wisconsin Urban Leadership Institute. And we are looking forward to being that external partner, being able to figure out how we may be able to standardize some of the things that you have going on already. But then how do we begin to search to figure out where some needs are and how do we begin to build the work that needs to be done? And the best part of this work is you go into this work knowing that it's a temporary, right? It's a temporary role that we want to be able to work ourselves out of a job, to be able to be that external eye, but then yet building the structure so that when we leave, we can say we have helped to create what the standard should be and where you need to go. And then we ease our way out of the work. So I'm really looking forward to that. So thank you for the opportunity just to say hello and just excitement about being able to figure out where Madison is and where we need to go together. Thanks.
Thank you, ladies. I really appreciate your patience.
Barb, would you like me to share my screen or do you want to share the screen?
Totally up to you.
How about I'll go ahead and do it. And yes, we are really looking forward to our partnerships and really engaging our community, Caroline Stanford Taylor's office, and really helping us ensure that we are getting all voices to the table. And with Gail and Alicia, this is an all hands on deck. It takes a village. It takes us all to make sure that we're doing this work well. So I'm just going to go over a high level timeline. This timeline obviously is able to be fluid and iterative as needed, but this is kind of where we are to date to give you an insight. So give me 1 second. Can everybody see my screen? I see Nama shaking her head. Yes, so wonderful. So here we are in March. We wanted to show both how the academic plan fits into this larger strategic framework recalibration. Both of these things are very important. We know the academic plan is very timely and we're working on that right now to give guidance and support to our schools as they are in the process of planning for next year, as we just heard earlier through our budget conversations. And so right now in March, we gave an update to you on the academic plan. We're collaborating, as we've said, with MTI. We're having an awesome meeting with our principals on Wednesday to get their voices in that process. And then we'll continue to give updates to the board. Starting in April, as you will see, is where this partnership is really going to start to come to fruition. And we're going to really be working on stakeholder feedback and input from our scholars, our families, our staff, our community, our business community throughout. We'll do that in April and May. And then we're excited that we want to then bring a more formalized update to the board in June, come back to the board again in July with more data and more input and information. then do a formal presentation to the board in August around what we have collected and where we are with our strategic framework recalibration. Again in September, and then by October, our goal is to have a final recalibrated strategic framework and plan that we will then use for short term and for that long term, as Dr. Jenkins says. So we're hoping that on a regular cadence, we are going to be providing updates to you, input from you, as well as from our entire Madison community. So I'll just pause there to see if Gail, Carolyn, or Alicia want to chime in before I go off screen share. Wonderful. Dr. Jenkins, anything from you on this before I go off screen share?
No, I just want to say thank you to our guests for coming in tonight, and thank you for just jumping up and leading this, and definitely to Ms. Stanford Taylor. Tonight is, I think it's her first official meeting online with us, so we're very happy to have her here, but thank you. And thank you to the board for switching this up to the front of this meeting.
Y'all, it was so nice to hear from you. Thank you for that update. I move that the Board of Education establish a 12-person committee for the purposes of renaming Jefferson Middle School as set forth.
That's you, Dr. Jenkins.
Yes.
I move that the Board of Education establish a 12-person committee for the purposes of renaming Jefferson Middle School as set forth in the documents prepared for this special meeting of the Board of Education dated March 14th, 2022. I further move two people. I see that you are ready for this motion. Board Member Castro, thank you for your enthusiasm. I further move that two people be designated as alternate members should the need arise as set forth in the document prepared for this special meeting dated March 14th, 2022. Can I get a second? Thank you. Second, Board Member Castro, any discussion? Now your advisory vote.
Aye.
All those in favor? Aye. Any abstentions? Any opposed? Any recusals? I do believe Board Member Vandermeulen is recusing herself from this vote due to a conflict of interest. Thanks y'all for establishing renaming committee. I move that the Board of Education establish an ad hoc committee composed of 11 people recommended by the Board of Education, with Board Member Ananda Morelli and Student Gordon Allen as co-chairs as set forth in the documents prepared for this special meeting dated March 14th, 2022.
Second, Maya Pearson.
Member Pearson, any discussion? Now your advisory vote.
Oh, Ali, I have a comment.
All right.
I have a comment.
Board Member Morelli.
Yes, so thank you. Sorry, I couldn't hear what was happening for a minute. I know that there are a few board members that haven't, they're still turning in names and recommendations, and we are still looking for stakeholder liaisons. We're still looking for students and support staff, folks. So all the additional names will be under those criterias. And I'll, I don't know if Gordon has anything else that he would like to say.
No, just that so far, yeah, like Ananda said, we're still looking for students, but I believe we are making progress with that. And yeah, we'll continue to update you all if there are any more updates with additional people.
Thank you so much, Board Member Morelli, and thank you so much, Gordon, for your leadership in terms of helping us to establish this ad hoc and the charge for this ad hoc. Any further discussion? Board Member Gomez-Schmidt.
Thank you. I just, in reading through the draft, I want to say thank you for all the work that has gone into starting to formulate the work of this ad hoc committee. I just wanted to make one suggestion as far as when we're engaging stakeholders. I think if there's a way to engage our neighborhood community centers who do work with youth, so the Leisure Center, the Goodman Center, all of the different neighborhood centers that are across the city and serve students in our schools might be a really good resource. I don't know if you see that as them coming to one of the meetings to provide their perspective. However, that starts to shape out as the committee gets going. That's just one suggestion that I have. And then another suggestion would just be that somehow as this committee does its work, that we somehow have a parallel staff group sort of working on the same thing to figure out how, once we get recommendations, just the feedback along the way, as far as how that would work in the schools, and maybe obviously we're doing a lot of work ourselves around restorative justice in our high schools and the new mental health positions that we just talked about, funding under Esther. So just trying to figure out how to connect the dots as this work goes forward, just to make sure that it happens in a really comprehensive and connected way. So thank you very much.
Member Gomez-Schmidt, I want to thank you for those remarks. And I also want to say I want to support staff in participating in this in a way that doesn't require staff, that doesn't assign staff a tremendous amount of work. And so I guess I think balancing that moving forward is going to be an important part of how we have this conversation. Any further discussion? All right, Nama, your advisory vote. Aye. All those in favor? Aye. Any abstentions? Any opposed? Any recusal? Motion carries 6. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Okay.
All those in favor? I'm sorry, Nama, advisory vote?
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, y'all have a nice night.